that our brothers and sisters on the other side work with us. It is very important. Notwithstanding the fact that we are the ruling government today, is the same they are looking for, and we should know that if we have their support and we build consensus, it will go a long way to help us. And to brothers and sisters on the other side, please, over-politicization will not help. And so I hope that you would continue to help and make us build consensus and stop litigation, so that at the end of the day, we give thanks to the Almighty and for our success as Ghanaians in a nutshell. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I wish us all the best.
Leadership.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this treasure space to make a few comments in response to the communication we received from the National Democratic Congress announcing a change in leadership. But first, Mr. Speaker, I welcome you back home after your trip to Côte d'Ivoire on the occasion of the opening of their Legislative Assembly. You continue, Mr. Speaker, to project the good image of this House, and I pray that you continue with strength to deliver on your mandate in this 9th part. First, second, my respected colleague, Dr. KCL Ato-Forson and his team. Congratulations. You've done what you have to do for your party. Yesterday, I watched you, Dr. Forson, TV, together with your Chief Whip, Kwame Governance Abuja, taking the ministry out. I wish you well. Indeed, this is a time to serve your country in another capacity, and your party has recognized that, and Mr. President has honored you. This was a great time working with you. In the 8th Parliament was a real test for the democracy of our country. I recall the times that decisions had to be made on this floor, where you had to painfully tell me that your side does not support me. I took it in all its strength, and today democracy has won. Mr. Speaker, the outgoing majority leader, or the former majority leader, Dr. Forson, was right when he stated that in spite of all of these, we kept a good friendship. I recall also his way. Situations where Kwame would disagree with me, he would find a way of avoiding an eyeball to eyeball. He will be looking elsewhere. He will ignore my text messages and my WhatsApp messages, and when he's done with everything, he will tell me, Kwame, I'm sorry, I have to defend his interest. My good friend, Ama Kofi-Boa, we often gave wrong signals to the optics. I think our common fights will be over. People know how great our friendship is, but you were always getting under me. And I know now, as a minister, our political fight will take a different form. This time, you'd have to come by my senior at the bar, my respected colleague, Mahama Ayari. We served together in ECOWAS Parliament. You were very supportive. You've earned the respect of colleagues in the sub-region. I know that you built consensus. In fact, Honorable Ayariga, there's something I've learned from you and I want to share. You don't mind how long it takes to negotiate, to bring peace. And that I've learned with a great deal of respect. I believe that even as majority leader, not assume that you have the numbers. So you have to railroad matters on this House floor. I pray that you continue with that skill so that together we ensure peace of this House by assisting Mr. Speaker. Indeed, many people in this country do not know that over 90% of the issues on this floor are resolved through consensus. There's a few that get into the media is what takes that stage. I pray that we will build consensus during your tenure. But to the backbenchers and all of us in this 9th Parliament, Honorable Ayariga, the majority leader, is a great debater. He loves his procedure. And let me do this. The day we had this hint of he becoming the leader of the House, one of my researchers told me, the leader, your new leader, is always glued to his law. He loves debate. So get your members to get ready. So I know you enjoy the rules and you will not allow this to go unattended. But let me quickly remind you, sir, that as a government leader, if you try to introduce more debates, government business will suffer. Honorable Deputy Leader, respected, quiet, soberly minded gentleman, from the Central Region. We've shared great moments together. I know I gave you some tough times when you were a Deputy Finance Minister, and I was in the opposition, the backbench those days, but we kept good friendship. And Eche, my steady mate, many people know this. We studied long hours to pass law exam. Again, I know how passionate you are about the work you do. But again, too many debates will spoil government business. Be reminded. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I would want to congratulate the new team one more time and assure them that outside we'll treat them with respect. We'll work together, beautify democracy, assure the nation that although it is NDC and MPP, to borrow from Honorable Kennedy Japan, it's about system and policies. Richard, who has joined them, who worked on the finance committee, you know your finance committee matters, and you've now been brought to leadership. It's up to us what you expect from the majority to add up to the team on key matters. So we'll prepare to face you on each of the floor. And my own mother, Honorable Doyu, you add up to the beauty of leadership. Always being a mother for all of us. I know difficult moments. You came to me and gave me some good counseling. I'm happy that you are part of the team as the most experienced to support the new team to work and work well for the good of all of us. Welcome once again. Congratulations to you, Mr. Speaker. Without more, I shall be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. The new leaders of the majority, you have heard from your predecessors and also the leadership, the minority, and a few members of parliament. What you now have to tell us.
Right Honorable Speaker, a short while ago, I was forced by my party, the Great Now Democratic Congress, and the majority caucus of 187 members to lead the NDC caucus in this ninth of the Fourth Republic. It is an honor and a privilege to serve in this new role as majority leader and leader of government in this parliament. With humility and profound gratitude to His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, the leadership of the NDC, chaired by the Honorable Johnson Seidu Nketia, and my honorable colleagues in Parliament, I wholeheartedly accept this appointment. I am thankful for the confidence reposed in me, fully aware that this is an onerous role. I intend to charge it to the best of my ability. Our duty as legislators to ensure that we do all we can for the betterment of the people of Ghana. As leaders house, as a leader of the House, I have an duty to ensure that we stand on the side of Ghanaians. Honorable Speaker, this is my charge to keep and a duty I will faithfully discharge. As leader of the House, I am committed to working hard to ensure that members work in an environment that is more conducive, convenient, and friendly. We are the representatives of the people of Ghana for a reason. Let us always be guided by this. That way, we will carve a place for ourselves in the annals of our dear country. Mr. Speaker, before I resume my seat, may I seize the opportunity to express appreciation to the immediate past leadership of our caucus, made up of Honorable Sir Atuforsen, the outgoing majority leader, Honorable Emmanuel Kofi-Buah, outgoing deputy majority leader. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Speaker, in the case of Honorable Buah, I intend that his seat should be relocated behind the pillar. Honorable Kwame Governs Abuja, outgoing majority chief whip, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, first deputy majority whip, and the youngest lady in the chamber, Honorable Comfort, outgoing Second Deputy Majority Whip, and incoming First Deputy Majority. I also want to thank all the members of our caucus, unity and oneness of purpose displayed. I count on you to continue to exhibit this same level of support and togetherness, if not more. Mr. Speaker, the main agenda in this House is to pursue the manifesto and program of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, a manifesto and a commitment that has received the overwhelming and vote of Ghanaians. The Speaker, by passing good laws that seek to further those goals, and we will use our various committees and our oversight responsibilities to ensure that the institutions of governance work for the people of Ghana again. Let me use this opportunity to thank the minority leader and our friends on the other side of the aisle for the cooperation and support we have received so far since the beginning of this night's Parliament. I want to assure them that in spite of their dwindled numbers, I, as my colleague, the minority leader has already indicated, I believe in accommodation, I believe in census building, and I believe in discipline, and I believe in cleanliness, and I believe in working together. I look forward to working with you and to ensure that the good people of Ghana are well served by this Parliament. Finally, Right Honourable Speaker, I believe that I will succeed. And the main reason why I will succeed is because your very good self is still in this chamber. When I came into this chamber 20 years ago, you were the leader of my caucus. I have learned so much from you. You have risen from minority leader to majority leader. You've served in the executive of government. You've risen from deputy speaker, and now you are the speaker of the Parliament in this chamber. And so I believe that you can afford to see me fail. And that is the reason why I'm very confident that I will. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I thank you and I thank colleagues.
Honorable members, let me acknowledge the presence at the distinguished visit and the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. We have the National Chairman, Honorable Johnson Asedu Nketia, and then the General Secretary, Honorable Fifi Fievi Kweti. They are here. They want to see it feel so that they can go back and report to the party. You are most welcome. For the parties as you all know, traditionally, how we inspired when at your workplace, your father or your mother visits you. It's so motivating and to encourage the leadership of political parties from time to time up here to see what their representatives are doing. And I think I have to commend the National Chairman and General Secretary of the NDC for always being present. Particularly, National Chairman is always present. He comes to see what is being done in this House. I recommend that to the other parties. Honorable members, let it not be said anywhere. I repeat, let it not be said anywhere that the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana did not perform well. Political scientists have adjudged the 8th Parliament as one of the best hang-seeming, the definition of a hang, and it has happened in many countries. In the United Kingdom, it has happened a number of times. In Australia, it has occurred a number of times. In India, it used to happen in the United States of America, and to legislate on it. About 90% of hang parliaments don't go for their full term of office. And in fact, when it occurred once in Ghana, in 1979, it only lasted for 27 months. People forget all this. And they say that this is the first time Ghana had a hang parliament. No. It happened in 79 between the People's National, was it PNP, People's National Party, and then the Popular Front Party. It occurred, it only lasted 27 months. In UK recently, they've had hung parliaments and they were compelled to change ministers. Ours lasted 4 successful years and delivered a smooth transition of power from a opposition to a party in government. That is a record that is being analyzed all over the world. And we are being praised. Unfortunately, Ghanaians are condemning it. They don't see the achievements we've made. And it's my duty to draw your attention to it, include the chess. They can go to read the literature and go around many countries to search from their records, and they will see that the AIM performed very, very well. We should be commended instead of being condemned. Please, the 8th Parliament is also different from the 9th Parliament. And therefore, as our former member, Honorable ABA Fusene will say, when the beats change, the dance what also change. And so that's what is expected of the 9th Parliament. The drum beat has changed. It has changed from a hung parliament to super majority parliament. And I'm happy that the leadership and members have taken note of this, and they are calling for caution that we should not use the multitude in our debates, but we should use reason and the national interest. As the Speaker I'll be very firm. I'll insist that that is done. Ghana has been promised a reset, and the people accepted the reset. The reset must be done. That is it. So please, I thank all of you for the understanding, and I hope we work together to advance our common interests and improve on the living conditions of the people we represent. Thank you so much. I'm informed that we have some statements. I don't know whether we should take them now or there are some priorities that leaders should take first before we go to statements. We can take the statements now.
Third report of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency the President's nomination for appointment.
I lead accordingly, and I direct that copies be made available to all members of Parliament. None. So may we now go back to message. That is all. Now, second Deputy Speaker to take the chair. The second Deputy Speaker will preside over the House as you present your statements. Leadership, will you be moving the motion?
Statement.
item listed 6.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Nick and I have conferred, and we can move to motions 8 and then after that 9, so that we can take the third report of the Appointments Committee on the nomination of ministers.
Motion 9.
Speaker, it is so.
Very well. Honorable members, let's turn to page 3. Page 3, item listed 8. Motion by the chairman of the Appointment Committee.
That the motion numbered 8 at page 3 of today's order paper, that of the standing orders of Parliament, which require that a motion shall not be debated until at least 2 sitting days have elapsed after the notice to move the motion is given. The motion for the adoption of the third report of the Appointment Committee of His Excellency, the President's nomination for appointment as ministers, may be now moved today. The Speaker, I so move.
Yes, the minority whip will second the motion.
Speaker, I rise to second the motion moved.
Honorable members, the motion has been moved and it has been seconded. This is procedural motion. I will therefore go ahead to put the question. The question is, all those in favor of the motion listed 8 in today's order paper, say aye. Aye. All those against, say no. Honorable members, it's obvious the ayes have it. The motion listed 8 in today's order paper is adopted. We move to 9, the substantive motion. Chairman of the committee.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the motion numbered 9 at page 3 of today's order paper, that this Honorable House adopts the third report of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency, the President's nomination for appointment as ministers. And Mr. Speaker, in doing so, I present the third report of the Appointment Committee on the subject matter under reference. The Speaker, the report captures the vetting and its consideration of Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim as Minister Designate for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Honorable Agnes Namomo Latte as Minister Designate for Gender, Children and Social Protection. Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu Ajare as Minister Designate for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. The Speaker, the committee members asked very salient questions on land ownership, line of reporting of the administrator of District Assembly Common Fund, improving the local economy in collaboration with MMDCs, inadequate human resource at the MMDAs, resources to run MMDAs and other agencies under the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. District Rules Improvement Program, otherwise known as DRIP. Questions were asked on that. Questions were on waste management contract, the mandate of the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. The Speaker, the nominee in a very composed manner provided the answers, and the answers are fully captured in the report. Right Honorable Speaker, on the second nominee, Honorable Agnes Namomo Latte, questions were also asked on the President's vision for the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, strategies to improve school feeding program, assistance to the people of Nungua under the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, the benefit of the Women Development Bank as contained in the NDC manifesto, the livelihood empowerment against poverty, LEAP, importance of the affirmative action law, the distribution of sanitary pads among female students. Mr. Speaker, the nominee again provided answers to this question, and these answers were captured in the report verbatim. Honorable Speaker, the third nominee under reference is Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu Ajari, Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. Again, the committee posed so many questions, including revenue mobilization at the port, revamping defunct state-sponsored agro farms, position on 1D, 1F, her position on 1D, 1F, the trade balance, weak entrepreneurial ecosystem, and many more. Mr. Speaker, her answers to the question is fully captured in the report. Mr. Speaker, I will therefore urge the Hansa Department to capture the entire report as having been read as I proceed to read the conclusion. Mr. Speaker, in accordance with the provisions of Article 78(1) of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and Standing Order 217, the committee considered the nominations by His Excellency the President. The nominee demonstrated competence, knowledge, and expertise on matters relating to their various ministries designated. The committee therefore recommends to the House by consensus the adoption of its report and approval of Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim as a Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Honorable Agnes Namomo Latte as Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, and Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu Ajari as Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. Right Honorable Speaker, I so submit. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Chairman of the committee. Now, second. Yes, Honorable Member for Okankwe Central.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion and to add my voice to the chairman of the committee to congratulate the member for Krowo, the member for Banda, the member for Techima North for their nomination, and having gone through the vetting process excellently a couple of days ago. Mr. Speaker, we know of Honorable Ahmed in this chamber. We've worked with him. We know how passionate he is. But the work in the chamber is different from going to manage entire local government institution, which comprises a lot of difficult district chief executives, district, municipal, and metropolitan chief executives. We expect of him to exercise the necessary restraint in dealing with them and to ensure that the relationship between the MMDCs and the MPs gets improved to ensure that the work in the constituencies and the districts gets on unimpeded. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the member for Crowell exhibited high qualities and convinced the committee that she could do a good job as Minister for Gender and Social Protection. And our own Elizabeth Ofosu-Ajare, the member for Techiman, a lawyer by profession, a lady, a mother, having convinced us, Mr. Speaker, promising to continue with the 1D1F program subject to the challenges she mentioned at the committee. We pray that the good Lord guides her to ensure that the job opportunity will be realized through the 1D1F programs that we initiated. I wish the nominees well and congratulations. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very, very much. Honorable members, the motion has been moved and it has been seconded. It is now before the House for consideration. As usual, because we want to manage the House well, the caucuses have presented the names of those who will be commenting on the report. So we will move to mention the names for those the caucuses have submitted to the table. So we will begin from the minority side, and we will call on Honorable Member for Empraeso, Honorable Davis Opoku. So, Honorable Member, we will not cut you short, yes, but we have so many other business to conduct today. So please work around 5 minutes for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the report of the Appointments Committee before this House. Mr. Speaker, first let me congratulate my colleagues, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, Madam Naomi Mo, Madam Elizabeth Ofosu-Ajare, for their nomination to this high office of the land. Mr. Speaker, particularly I'm excited at the nomination of Mr. Ahmed Ibrahim as the Minister Designate for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. I've been in this House for 4 years, and when it comes to issues that confront members of Parliament, when it comes to issues about MPs and their relations with the District Assembly Common Fund, and to a larger extent, the local government ministry, we have seen Ahmed Ibrahim lead the charge in that regard. And I know that when he settles in that office, issues that bother members of Parliament would be one of the top priorities on his desk as a minister. Mr. Speaker, I'm particularly interested in how we are able to correct the, for want of word, anomaly with respect to the District Assembly's Common Fund Act 455, which establishes the office of the administrator and provides that the administrator reports directly to the minister responsible for local government. However, when you look at Act 936, Section 129 of the Local Government Act, it stipulates that the administrator shall report to Parliament and office of the President. This, in times past, has created some challenges where administrators of Common Fund have had issues with sector ministers. Even as a Parliament, we have struggled at inviting administrators of Common Fund to appear before us, even explain to us issues that are mandatory, issues that concerns members of Parliament. I think that it's about time that the sector minister taking charge take steps to address this anomaly. It's important that every administrator reports to the minister, sector minister involved, so that the minister would have direct responsibility in responding to issues that border on that fund to Parliament. We would want to be dealing more with the ministers who we appreciate that have a lot of insights. Mr. Speaker, one of the challenges that our municipal chief executives have had, especially with the last government, has been issues of capping. I mean, when you go to them for projects, they tell you that most of their funds have been capped. And it brought untoward challenges in the administration of the district assemblies. Mr. Speaker, I think it's about time that the president assures us, and also the sector minister assures that when he takes office, the issue of capping our district assembly common fund, monies that go directly to the assemblies, will be taken off. They need monies to construct more drains. They need monies to construct more schools. They need monies to develop the various assemblies. And if we are to go by this capping policy, I think we will continue to face challenges in the various assemblies. Mr. Speaker, also, the drip machine is one laudable project that His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, with the support of this Parliament, of the 8th Parliament, brought to bear. I think we need to find ways of putting up policies to ensure that the very reasons why we bought these machines, the very reasons why we procured these machines, we use these machines for that very purpose. And I know that our senior colleague Ahmed Ibrahim will not fade this house and will always respond. I was a bit worried with having agribusiness attached to the Ministry of Trade, because I felt that it was purely an agric. But when I listened to Madam Ejare, I got convinced that if you look at most of the 1D, 1F projects, most of them are agro-based projections. I mean, most of them are agro-based factories. And to have agribusiness under a watch would go a long way to as it were, address some of the challenges that persons who are engaged in agribusiness face. I mean, we cannot continue to import over $100 million worth of onions into our country. What is required is to develop a proper value chain. And I know that with her at the Ministry of Trade, we are going to do that. For the Gender Ministry, issues of human trafficking is something that is dear to my heart. And I'm praying that the minister focuses on human trafficking issues in this country. In fact, we have a lot of young ladies in our country who are migrating based on false information, especially to the UAEs, and the challenges that they face in these countries is something that is unprintable. I am praying that the minister puts a lot of energy in that sector and addresses issues of human trafficking. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to congratulate our colleagues. We are hoping and praying for the best. We are hoping and praying for the betterment of Ghana. I know they will succeed, and I know that when we take over in 2028, we will not meet a ministry that is... Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Opoku. Honorable members, let's turn to a member for Doma West. Is it, am I right? Honorable Vincent Opon Samoa. Is it Doma West?
Yeah, right, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me first commend His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana for the appointments so far to the various ministries. And you can see from the caliber of people that have been appointed that the government means business. Let me first talk about the nominee for local government, Honorable Ahmed. We all know him. He has been here for about the 5th term in Parliament. And he has seen that having been appointed to a ministry like local government, he is going to deliver, help the president, reset the country, and then we move it forward. As a former DC, MC, we all know the importance and the important role Ministry of Local Government plays. If government will function at the local level, we need proper supervision. And we need someone like Honorable Ahmed who will be able to match up to the task, keep the DCs in line so that they can deliver at the grassroots. I remember His Excellency, the former president, Nana Addo. He made promise to Ghanaians that Accra was going to be the cleanest city in Africa. And I also recall the last State of Nation address, when he was even recounting his achievements, he forgot to even mention that Accra has become the cleanest city in Africa. When we drive, while you are in Accra, you drive through various streets in Accra, I ask myself, if we have even authority, let me say the AMA or other municipal authorities in Accra, sanitation is at the lowest, and even lighting system on our streets. We all know that street light belongs to the local government. Yet, you drive through Accra and you ask yourself, roads are so weedy, very unkept, and I believe in this young man that having assumed this office, let's see the changes. And I know my brothers on the other side will see the changes. Within a very short period, you'll see the changes in Accra. We'll have street lights, we'll have clean city, and Ghanaians, it's not about we have spent so much. It's not about we have spent so much, but it will be about the real, tangible. People will feel it.
Honorable Vincent, hold on. Let me catch the attention of Honorable Member for Asante Achem Central.
Mr. Speaker, let me remind my honorable brother of Order 93.5. Is not supposed to, in making comment, is not supposed to provoke debate. All the statements he's making, I or other people may not agree with him, and this would provoke debate. So the motion on the floor, rather than inviting others to enter into debate. I will not comment on the exact thing that he said, but don't provoke debate. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much. Honorable Leader, let's take it lightly. I mean, for me, it's okay. Let's move smoothly. Leader.
Thank you very much.
Mr. First Deputy Speaker, you have moved your motion. Allow us to. Yes, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to draw the attention of my colleague that Order 93.5 does not come to his aid in this matter. So Order 93.5 is about statements and commentary on statements, just for the education of colleagues in the chamber.
Well. But that notwithstanding, honorable members, let's try not to degenerate the House into an arena that will make things a bit difficult. I mean, we are commenting, so let's do that gently so that we can do our best to approve our brothers and sisters who are going to help the president to govern the country. So, Honorable Vincent, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker, with respect, the majority leader is right. However, Speaker, these are our own colleagues. The Honorable Ahmed is seated right before us. I see my friend, beautiful sister, and other colleagues. They've all performed, I witnessed the performed creditably well. But as my senior colleague tried, we're just trying to help you navigate properly. We want to pass them, but please be guided. If you start throwing punches, we also start throwing punches. No, don't start punches. Speak to the issues. Let's edify them. We can raise the issues, but the tangent you want to take, please, don't tempt us.
Well, like I said, I mean, so Honorable Vincent Asamoah, just take you and let's have this session very smooth.
You know me.
Yes.
You know me.
Very well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A whole ministry was created by Nanado's administration for sanitation. And that puts emphasis on the importance your government put on sanitation. And I'm particularly very much concerned about the issue of sanitation. That is why I commend Honorable Ahmed some of the answers that he gave.
Honorable Samuel, hold on. Just chairman of the committee.
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Members, when a report of a committee is being debated, your contribution must be based on the reports. So I will urge the House to take that into consideration in the debate. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well. So please, let's speak to the report. Vincent, let's speak to the report. I mean, let's cut away insinuation and innuendos. I mean, just speak to the report.
We all know that religious affairs. That ministry is also merged with the local government. I was particularly very much impressed when question was posted on that ministry, especially issues on chieftaincy and the manner that he handled it. I was very much impressed. And I know that under his leadership, issues on chieftaincy, issues in Ghana is going to go down drastically. We all know there's areas where we have these tribal clashes, also hamper development. So I have so much confidence in Honorable Ahmed that once he assumed duty as the Minister for Local Government, most of the issues that Ghanaians, issues of sanitation and issues on chieftaincy, you are going to nip it in the bud. So on these few words, and looking at the reaction from the minority, I'll conclude and then recommend that our new minister should be approved.
Thank you very much.
To start a reset agenda.
Thank you very much,
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Let me turn to Honorable Kofi Mafo, a member for Achiase.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to commend our able colleagues who have been nominated and vetted. I will start with Honorable Ahmed, who is my neighbor. For me, what I would say is that local government is a challenging ministry. leader, he was working closely with the local government ministry. And so we know that he's going to do a good job. And I will also want to congratulate my own Honorable Elizabeth Ejari. As a trade minister, I will want to urge her that what we are experiencing at the port is not one-man business or one ministry business. It is for trade, transport, and finance. And they are the people suffering, especially when it comes to shipping lines. Their charges are so much. Now, 40-footer container, if you are taking a 40-footer container, it's over 15,000 for the shipping line. Meanwhile, the handlers, who are the ones going to do major work, are taking about 4,000 Ghana cedis. So I'll urge her to take a critical look at what is happening at the port, whether it is export or import. It is within her purview, so she will be looking at it critically. Then talking about the 1D1F, she was complaining about capacity building, and she was talking about funding. So I'll urge her to take a critical look at the exemption process, because if about 400 million and over can be given to NPS for them as an exemption for their work doing at the port, I think other institutions or manufacturers who are also going to deal with our export promotion and employment scale, they also need to be considered. So with these few words, I'll urge our own colleague, our own sister, to take a critical look at it. And then my last one is about these business regulatory reforms, which is under her ministry. They are in charge of making sure that businesses strive. And the regulatory reforms are very important for our business community. They have brought a bill to Parliament, and I'll urge her to take a good look at it and then make sure that our business community get the facilitation in terms of regulations, in terms of permit and other issues that border on the business. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate all of them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kofi. Honorable members, let's turn to Honorable Kwame Asare-Obeng. Honorable Kwame Asare-Obeng.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to first of all congratulate Honorable Ifa, Honorable Ahmed for his nomination. The leadership informed me that I have to comment on honorable question that I had was that I have to comment on a different appointment, and so I will ask if it's possible to be corrected. Yes, I do, but my information that I have, and that is what I'm dealing with.
The report we have to comment is not yet ready. Is that what you want to say?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. No, relax. You are not, relax. Mr. Speaker, I'm dealing with my whip, and she gave me an information, and that is what I'm working on. Sit down, relax. Relax.
Well.
Yes.
So let me call the next person.
Yes,
so
thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. So on that note, let's turn to Honorable Maswell Lukuto. Maswell, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful for the opportunity to make a comment on our honorable nominees who will soon be ministers of state. I actually sat in the meeting where our colleagues were vetted, and per the depth of knowledge they have on the subject matter and the ministries they are going to, I have no doubt that they're going to perform. On our Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, the local government ministry, I believe, is a heartbeat of all of us as players in the democratic space, and most especially for us members of parliament. Critical for us because these are the people we're going to be dealing with on daily basis whilst we are within our constituencies or out of the constituency performing national duty in the big House of Parliament. Seniors have commented on the challenges they have had with some district chief executives in the past when they want to access their common fund and other funds that go through them. You will face it more this time, maybe. And so we wish that he would consider the plight of all members of parliament. Even though these funds are through as they are supposed to help alleviate poverty in all district assemblies, together they are D and MCEs to the benefit of the whole of the nation. It is my hope that he will be in line to be able to help us achieve our aim as MPs whilst away, so that whilst here you don't have people down there who are looking to cut your leg. And also when you are in the opposition, they will also be there and stifling your common fund, not allowing you to have access to them. For our dear Lady Namumo, she was so composed, answers the questions very eloquently, and I believe that she will do well in the ministry that has been so assigned to her. We believe that all these ministers of state would listen to the plight of their people and do just what we demand of them, so that the reset agenda that Ghana has signed for, I mean Ghana, not just NDC, because of the overwhelming endorsement that we have had as a government, it is a testament to the fact that Ghanaians want to see reset, and the reset agenda, I believe, is beginning from this house. And so it is our hope that together they will do a good job. Mrs. Elizabeth Ejare Ofosu, eloquent, a lawyer, done so well in the past as a deputy minister, now promoted to the position of a substantive minister. Sorry, she was a minister and also another minister now. It is our hope and prayer that she will do better than she did in the Mahama 1 government, and then the reset agenda and the 24-hour economy that we have so yearned for as Ghanaians will come to pass. With these few words, I wish to congratulate them once again and pray that God guides their step very well for the reset agenda. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Maswell. Let him now turn to the former finance minister, Honorable Dr. Amin Anda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me first of all congratulate our colleagues for their nomination by the President for the various roles they are being assigned to. Particularly for my friend here, Ahmed Ibrahim. If Ahmed Ibrahim is to bring the dexterity which he brought to his work as deputy minority leader, minority whip, then, Mr. Speaker, I have no doubt that he is going to live up to expectation.
he tormented us a lot, and I believe he will bring that kind of character, the skill, to ensure that DCEs do their work very well in their districts and jurisdiction. But, Mr. Speaker, one issue I'd like to draw attention to is the difficulty in financing projects at the district level. Because the common fund allocation is no longer enough, and I doubt if it will be ever enough to finance district level development projects. And this is why the minister is being encouraged, and I'd like to encourage you to consider relaying the municipal finance bill, which tends to support district assemblies to look at alternative ways of financing their projects rather than relying all the time on the government for resources to finance development projects, particularly in the area of public-private partnerships, projects that can pay for themselves. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to encourage him to relay the municipal finance bill. Property rate is another area of interest. There's huge potential in using property rate to finance development at the district level. But as a country, we really haven't found solution to maximizing the collection of property rate. The Ministry of Finance tried. We implemented a system that could energize the mechanisms of collecting property rate. Unfortunately, we face some challenges. I hope that you will look at the policy, you will look at the systems we're implementing, and you will work hard to address the challenges associated with property rate collection and ensure that we leverage that potential for complementing public finances of projects at the district level. Mr. Speaker, it's also important to note, and this is an observation I would like to make, that in presenting the formula for common fund by the common fund administrator, it is important to consult widely, particularly with the Ministry of Finance. I cannot remember the Ministry of Finance making inputs to the formula that was presented last year to this House. And this does not help because it is important for the two ministers to sit down and prioritize the areas that the budget can accommodate and what common fund can also accommodate. So we avoid duplication of allocating resources for similar projects or same projects across the country. So, Minister, I know that you have so much experience in this area, and I have no doubt that this will really get your serious attention to ensure that the right institutions make appropriate inputs to the formula before it is presented to Parliament. Now, the practice of spending on behalf of assemblies is an old age practice. When I was mayor of Tamale, it was there, it's been there up till to date. This deprives the assemblies of critical resources to implement their budgets. The law that established the assemblies also requires them to have budgets approved by the assemblies. Now, what sense does it make if an assembly makes a budget approved by the assembly and yet the revenue expected doesn't come in for the assemblies to execute this budget? This is very problematic, Mr. Speaker. And this is why most assemblies are living from hand to mouth, unable to execute critical projects that they have promised their people in their localities. And so, Mr. Speaker, I do not know what mechanism the minister will use when approved, but it is critical that we stop the practice of the common fund spending and contracting suppliers and paying suppliers on behalf of assemblies. That is not, for me, an efficient way of spending the common fund money. Also because it does not address the priorities of the various assemblies. Mr. Speaker, for Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu Ajari, one of the key measures that you need to pay attention to is the ease of doing business. We are at a critical stage where we have to be able to attract as much investment as possible to support us grow the economy. And the ease of doing business is monitored seriously by investors across the world. And you need to pay serious attention to that, particularly in addressing some of the challenges that the report brings out. The Tema Port, the harbor, is one area that has been highlighted in many of the reports on ease of doing business in Ghana. In trying to address this problem, I faced a lot of resistance. There are so many stops at the port, so many stops. And therefore, you need to be able to reduce the number of stops importers go through, or even exporters go through, in order to establish a one-stop solution that will make the ease of importing and exporting real. This is so important because the business community, as you engage them, will tell you more about that. But we face serious challenges. No institution wanted to give up. And I hope you'll be guided by this in helping to address that problem at the port so that we can attract more businesses into our country. My last point, Mr. Speaker, is on agribusiness, particularly in relation to horticulture. We can create a lot of businesses around horticulture. And I've been looking at the situation where the White Volta can be declared the horticultural belt of Ghana, so that the water flowing through the White Volta can be used to irrigate horticultural farming, vegetables, like onions, etc., which we can trade in Ghana, but also for export. What is critical about this also is that the White Volta is closer to the Tamale Airport, and the Tamale Airport is within 2 hours to about 5 countries around the country. And so, if we do this, Ghana will become a major exporter of horticulture. And that, I believe, will bring a lot of meaning to adding agribusiness to the Trade and Industry Ministry. Because I see a lot of coordination, or complementarities. And I hope that you will take this very seriously. We'll put fire at your feet so that you can do this for the benefit of our country. So I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. I believe you all understand why I gave him some time. We realized he was giving very good so come again. So now we will turn to Honorable Faustina Eliprim Akulugu. Yes, Honorable, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to contribute to the report by the Appointments Committee of the nominations of Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, Honorable Agnes Namumu Latte, Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu Ajari, for the Ministries of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Gender, Children and Social Protection, and Trade, Industry and Agribusiness, respectively. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, these appointments by His Excellency the President are more than enough testimony of his commitment to resetting Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim has been a ranking member of the Local Government Committee of the House. At his vetting, he demonstrated a considerable understanding of local government issues in the country. We are confident that his appointment will support His Excellency the President's vision to deepen decentralization and also enhance revered institution of chieftaincy in our country. Mr. Speaker, we also believe that as a former whip of this House, the Honorable Ahmed I am not reading.
Sit down.
Mr. Speaker, we also believe that as a former whip of this House, the Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim will instill discipline in the yet-to-be appointed chief executives of our various Metropolitan Municipal Assembly, and more importantly, get him aligned with the vision of the President and members of Parliament. I must also add that, personally, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim has been a great help to me. I've had to rely on his advice and support a number of times to win the mighty Domi Kwabenya constituency.
Hey! Read on.
Finally, Mr. Speaker,
read
the
on.
appointment of Honorable Agnes Namumu and Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu Ajari is a committed another bold statement that His Excellency, the President, respects women and he's committed ensuring that gender balance in his government in line with the Affirmative Action Bill. As a woman, I am particularly proud of the appointments, and I strongly believe they will make us proud. Mr. Speaker, I am grateful for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's turn to Honorable Tampuli. Honorable Hassan Tampuli, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity to contribute to this report, consideration of the House for the approval of the Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, Minister for Local Governments, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, the Honorable Mrs. Namumu Lati, as Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, as well as my sister, Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu Ejare, Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. Mr. Speaker, I want to join colleagues to extend hearty congratulations to these colleagues who have caught the eye of His Excellency, the President of the Republic, serving his government. Mr. Speaker, right at the outset, I need to signify to these colleagues that by what I have observed in the previous administration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Richard Poole is something that he likes a lot. So please, when you go, you have to work very, very fast and actualize your vision before maybe you are Richard Poole to another place. So, Mr. Speaker, this is just a little question to colleagues. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, a lot has been said about him. Very sharp gentleman. Mr. Speaker, looking through the reports, I noticed that the three of them are almost about the same age. They are almost about the same age. 50, 52. And I believe very strongly that with what I heard this morning about the average age of the nominees for ministerial positions, I believe that we have one of the youngest governments in the history, the oldest being about 61 or so. So your collective energies would have to show. Your collective energies will have to show. You have to give justification for why government should be made available to the younger generation. So the between the reporting structures of our specific laws shall take precedence of our general laws would convince me that generalibus non-derogat specialibus, that is correct. That's the Latin Act 455, which establishes that the common fund administrator should report to the Minister for Local Government, is the one that should be adhered to. Yes, Mr. Speaker, there will be some challenges as far as canons of interpretations are concerned, that you might say that the later legislation will take precedence over former legislations. So that argument can also be made, but I would insist that once it is a special legislation, I would insist that the District Assembly Common Fund Administration should report to the Minister for Local Government for the proper alignment of the function of the local government administration. Mr. Speaker, on point 43 of the report, improving the local economy in collaboration with the MMDCs, there's no doubt about the goodness of the spending power of the Assembly, what it does to the local economy. I mean, the cascading effects is unimaginable. When everything is done from Accra, you know, contracts are awarded in Accra, procurements are taken from Accra. Sometimes the members of parliament, and I believe some of us have experienced it one way or the other. You'll be sitting in the chamber, and then somebody moves to site. It's even sometimes the case that even the MMDCs do not even know where these contractors are coming from. The next thing you find somebody, you know, on the ground executing the contracts. So, Mr. Speaker, I would urge on my colleague, the Honorable Ahmed, to take a very critical look at that issue and then deal with it. Mr. Speaker, I noticed also that the ministry is quite a behemoth right now. Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Judicial Committee of the House of Chiefs, and so on and so forth. So they are going to be superintending a huge space that previously was occupied by, I think, 2 or 3 ministers. But there was a Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, and then local governments. Now you are going to carry almost 2.5 ministries. And I don't know how you are going to do it, but based on what we have seen you do in this house, your diligence, your ability to think on your feet, and so on and so forth, I believe that you'll be able to discharge this duty with gusto. And I wish you well, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim. The Speaker, Honorable Agnes Na Momo Lati, Doctor, the Minister for Gender. Mr. Speaker, that ministry is one of the youngest. Now, if I remember correctly, the former Minister and Member of Parliament for Takrady, Gladys Asma, is the one that birthed that ministry in 2001. And I believe there's a great deal that can be done about that ministry. I'm not too sure. I may be corrected, Mr. Speaker. But if I remember correctly, Gladys Asma was in recent years the First Minister for Gender. So it's a work in progress. There's a great deal that can be done at that ministry. And I believe that you will give effect to the Women Development Bank. The Speaker, after the election, a woman told me that she was waiting for the Women Development Bank to be established. That's why she didn't vote for me. And so, Mr. Speaker, I'm also, waiting patiently for that ministry to set up so that I can send my women organizer to go and see if she gets some loan from the facility. So, Honorable Member for Krowo, I wish you well. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu Ejare, I served with her on the Appointments Committee. Very diligent. I don't know whether it is parliamentary, but she is a gentle assassin.
Her questions are slow in coming, but they are piercing and biting. And then she will punch you where you least expect. I mean, she will just, oh, Mr. Speaker, I don't have much to say. But when the questions come, Mr. Speaker, you will shake small before you are able to. Committee, very diligent. I don't know whether it is parliamentary, but she is a gentle assassin. Her questions are slow in coming, but they are piercing and biting. And then she will punch you where you least expect. And she will just, oh, Mr. Speaker, I don't have much to say. But when the questions come, Mr. Speaker, according to the nominee, when the tax system is attractive, she proposed imposition of a reasonable and fair tax system. And according to the nominee, when the tax system is attractive, non-exorbitant and reasonable, people are more willing to pay. Mr. Speaker, if I refer to President Mahama's first 100-day social contracts, bullet number 6, Mr. Speaker, if you permit me to just read quotes. Within my first 90 days in office, review taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment imported into the country for industrial and agricultural purposes. Mr. Speaker, currently, if you take the bill of lading at the port, you import the vehicle into the country, you have line items, taxes, levies, margins, and so on and so forth, about 22. And my colleague, Honorable Mafo, made reference to a particular line item, which is the container charges. Averagely, you are paying about 15,000 apart from paying for everything that has to be paid for at source. You pay 15,000 per container. Mr. Speaker, we do not less than 1.2 million containers in a year. Now, when you do the calculation, we're talking about billions of dollars. Mr. Speaker, sometimes when you go to make these payments, the shipping lines insist that you must come with foreign currency. So in addition to paying this exorbitant fee, you are also supposed to go and exchange mostly dollars or euros to go and make these payments. Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure about the legality of this. And so the Shippers Authority Act was passed recently. Mr. Speaker, I'm just winding now. The Shippers Authority Act was passed recently, in which we have insisted that shipping lines can no longer impose such charges on shippers, except what the Ghana Shippers Authority has approved. And I believe that this will be a very, good platform for you to speak to traders and importers and even exporters about the benefits of this new act, so that all these, exorbitant container charges for doing nothing, Mr. Speaker, for doing nothing. So they just sit down and at the click of a button of a computer, you charge somebody 15,000 cedis. You pay for container cleaning when you bring a Brunei Wow.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, on this note,
thank you.
I'd like to congratulate my colleagues and then add my voice to the House.
You have been watching Thursday's live proceedings from the floor.
And then add my voice to the House to confirm this college. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Please, let's turn to Honorable Simon Pabe Chereme. Yes, Honorable Chereme. Is it Brekum?
Yeah, Brekum is.
Yes.
Thank you very much, the Speaker, for the opportunity and the latitude to add my voice and to contribute to, and to say very big congratulations to the nominees on their call to serve in this high office. Let me start with Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim. Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, 5-term Member of Parliament for the good people of Banda. He has really distinguished himself so well. When you see and assess his intellectual prowess, his tenacity of purpose, when you look at Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, sincerely, and if we will be very forthright, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim is a luminary. His tenacity of purpose, just like I said, and his testicular fortitude. And I have no doubt, I come with very firm conviction that my senior colleague will distinguish himself creditably in the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy, and Rural Development. I strongly believe that my senior colleague will concern himself with the Act 936. I'll remind him later, he doesn't know. The son of a lion doesn't get mixed in the jungle.
Honorable, just focus. Later on, you come to that.
All right.
Let's focus on.
Mr. Speaker, I want to believe that my senior colleague will concern himself with the Act 936, the structure in particular, the lower level. The Local Government Act, when you look at the structure, most often than not, you realize that the base, which is the unit committee, was the local government. The unit committee, the town and urban councils, the assembly members, just exist in nomenclature, but they are less resourced. When you go to my constituency, looking at Nasi, Kato, Biada Urban Council, you get there and the place is less resourced. And I strongly believe that my senior colleague will concern himself so much by resourcing them. Most often than not, you realize that, Mr. Speaker, they are not even consulted. And it is only at the evaluation stage. But I strongly believe that democracy must be participatory. And once it's for the people must be involved at the grassroots. And I strongly believe that during the problem assessment, through to design of the program and project, through implementation to evaluation stage, the unit committee, the assembly members, and the urban and the town councils will be involved. And I think with that, we can have the full realization. With him, as a royal member, I strongly believe chieftaincy is not an issue. And as an elder of Church of Pentecost, I have no doubt in my mind. As long as religious issues are concerned, he will do justice to that. Then again, on my good sister, Honorable Elizabeth Ufusua Jare.
Honorable, you spend almost all the time on Honorable Ahmed.
I have a lot of confidence in her. And that again, I have a lot of confidence in her. She has distinguished herself so well, so creditably, when she was the Minister for Tourism. And Ghana became a destination or a tourism hub. So I have no doubt in my mind that she will distinguish herself. Likewise, Honorable Namumu, I wish them all well, and I want to congratulate them for the appointment. I wish them well. Thank you so much.
The last batch, let me call Honorable leadership, will you do the... Okay, let him take the last batch. You gave me the list, so let me take the last batch. Let me give Honorable former Minister for Western Region.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I know this is a privilege. Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't have been very well if I had not been given the opportunity to speak in congratulating my brother, Honorable Ahmed. We've been very good friends. We've traveled together, we've gone to school together, and he's shown courage in this house. I therefore don't have any doubt in my mind that he can get this job done. Mr. Speaker, I know that local government is a very huge portfolio, but local government is local, and that is where people benefit or they become dejected and create problems. Mr. Speaker, if you take some of the answers that my brother had given. One of the biggest one I believe I want to comment had to do with the issue of releases of funds to the Assembly. Mr. Speaker, it is very important for us to understand that the monies are released by the Ministry of Finance. Therefore, the administrator, they only disburse. So not until Finance releases this money, the disbursement will not happen. And I believe that that is where, as Parliament, we should put the emphasis and the pressure. So far, it seems that we'll be leaving that out, and then our assemblies have been suffering for a very long time. I understand that a lot of some of the expenses or the disbursements are done at the center. But usually, a lot of the projects too, the assemblies themselves also agree for them to do it. So they cannot also be given excuses for agreements they've done, and the local, the district assembly common fund is disbursed. So I believe that we need to look at this dichotomy and find a way to resolve some of these issues. On the issue of local economy, I believe that is one area I would suggest that we put a lot of emphasis, because if you take the elections that we've gone through and all the difficulties with the economy, if you are able to get things done right in developing the local economies across the length and breadth of the country, I believe that the pressure from the youth for jobs, the pressure for infrastructure development would also go down. On the issue of Madam Ajayi, Minister for Trade, I'm happy that she's gotten that nod, because I saw her work when she was Minister for Tourism, because I followed her a lot. I'm also happy that she's been given this position. But what I want to note is that in most big economies, the minister responsible for the economy is usually the Minister for Trade and Industry, not the Minister for Finance. Because if you take the NDC's own manifesto and the agenda for this election, it's about 24-hour economy, and it's on you. So if we don't give you the opportunity to determine the pace of the economy, not the disbursement at finance, I believe that we might have a lot of difficulty. And I believe that cabinet members and government members should be able to support her to take hold of the economy. And when she's able to take hold of the economy, move it quicker, it can then be spread by the local government, and then the people can feel the benefit of the governance that we deliver in the country. Jalil talked about the weak entrepreneurial economy, and I believe that we need to start from secondary schools. Because if Ghanaian children, Ghanaian students, university students are not told right from level 100 that they can do something for yourself after school, but wait to be employed. Mr. Speaker, young people have new ideas, and they are the future of our country. If we don't inculcate in them the ability to be entrepreneurial, we should be creating the jobs for them to be employed. So I believe that that education should also be taken by the Minister for Trade to create that enabling environment and also raise more revenues to support them. With these few words, I know they'll be able to deliver. Let's support them to be made ministers. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Last but not the least, Honorable Suleimana Adam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the report on the appointment of 3 ministers of state. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim started from time. When he first came to the House, he represented the good people of time. I was his constituent secretary. So today I'm very happy to see him rise through the ranks to become the Minister for Local Government. Mr. Speaker, if you go through the report, he has served on so many committees, but perhaps the Local Government Committee is the one that his impact was greatly felt. He has gone through the whole country. He is aware of the challenges of this country. So I'm very confident that his practical knowledge about the challenges of the local governance structures will inure to the benefits of the office that he's coming to hold. But Mr. Speaker, perhaps the most profound statement I found during the vetting was the one that he said, Mr. Chairman, I will not allow any MMDCE to disrespect members of parliament. Mr. Speaker, the friction between MPs and chief executives is a well-known documented fact, but I'm sure with his knowledge and with his experience, we will scale over this friction. Mr. Speaker, also important to mention was the DRIP, the District Road Improvement Project. He gave firm assurances that management of the DRIP project will improve so that the impact will be felt. Mr. Speaker, perhaps the roads minister in the 8th Parliament, you realize the roads minister was the most summoned minister on this house. It tells you that the road sector is the most critical when it comes to the developmental issues that we have. So I'm sure with Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim as the local government minister, with proper structure and ownership of the machines, the DRIP project will get to the intended purpose that we envisaged. Mr. Speaker, Elizabeth Ofosua-Jare is a former Minister of State in charge of tourism. She's a lawyer. She's a gender activist. But for me, her appointment demonstrates the commitment of President Mahama to gender equity. Perhaps I agree with the honorable member for the former Western Regional Minister that the most important ministry for the next 4 years of President Mahama is the Ministry for Trade and Industry. It is where the central theme of our campaign, the 24-hour economy, is. No wonder President Mahama chose Elizabeth Ofosua-Jare, a woman of metal, and I'm sure she's going to deliver, just like she did when she was a minister for tourism. Mr. Speaker, President Mahama didn't add there. The EI that established the new ministries added agribusiness to that ministry. It tells you job creation is central, and Elizabeth Ofosua-Jare will be in charge of one of the central teams of this administration. Agnes Namomo Latte, she is my former colleague at the backbench there. She's a very serious woman. She never misses any whip system. Anytime she was needed in the chamber, Namomo is there. She's a gender activist. She has gone through the mill in gender activism. But I was happy with her statement when she said the school feeding program was going to be decentralized, and that the minister's role would be supervision. Mr. Speaker, I am sure that with her knowledge in gender activism and her care for the girls,
TV, the authentic and trusted voice of Ghana.
Boldly explaining to them the intricacies of politics, then we also fall for the trap and we make political commitment. I don't doubt the competence of Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, but that huge ministry, local government, and chieftaincy, all these conflicts, the behind the scenes, negotiations for peace, and local governance. Mr. Speaker, I am not the president, but if I were to advise Mr. President, I would say, Mr. President, you can apologize to Ghanaians and say, look, you underestimated the thing. I think I need to engage more ministers. Because, Mr. Speaker, we cannot allow this. And the civil servant, what people have forgotten is that as you put two ministries together, the staffers are the same. All the civil servants who are there, they remain same. And then you say only one minister to supervise and monitor. Things will soon get out of hand and you take the collateral damage. And then they say there's corruption. So it is your government. We leave that to you. I will not belabor the point. To conclude, I want to say something about the Minister Designate for Trade and Industry and Agribusiness. I am a lawyer by profession and a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. And practically, I know the benefit of the 1D, 1F. All I want from you, my respected senior colleague at the bar, do all you can to give meaning to this initiative. You may call it another name. I understand politics. But if you don't give relief to the private sector, you aren't going anywhere. All these young men and women chasing us here and there, government support alone will not be enough. You and I know that many of the support we give them, they abuse them. If we energize the private sector to be successful, they would employ these individuals and they would be measured by their output. If we don't do it and we think that, oh, government will do it, government will do it. Look, you know the debt situation. We've been attacking each other. Huge debt, as if it just came out of nothing. It is as a result of the social intervention programs we introduce that when our people benefit, those of economic value do not get returned to the state. So we keep digging a hole. My respected colleague, be bold at cabinet. I know the strength of this majority leader. I know how objective he can be. Let this 9th parliament be a game changer. That it is this 9th parliament that through advocacy compelled the government to put in place the support system for the benefit of Ghanaians. For me, it doesn't really matter if Ghanaians want a new government in 2028, it will happen. You can't do anything about it. But at least for your record, let history testify that when you had the opportunity, these were the transformation that you introduced in the governance of the country. Mr. Speaker, without more, I shall rest my case and support the motion that this House approve. This House approves the report of the appointment committee as ably moved by this House, by the chair. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Now, majority leadership.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to add my voice to the motion presently before us for the adoption of the report ably laid by the chairman of the committee. Mr. Speaker, in doing so, let me make the point forcefully that the Honorable Minority Leader again got the point wrong on this vexed issue of the, yes, I disagree with him that the insistence that the Act 1030, the Act 1030-2020 Security and Intelligence Agencies Act actually provides for the establishment of the Ministry of National Security. Because specifically Section 24 only provides for the functions of the minister. And Mr. Speaker, the minister is defined in Section 49 of the law as the minister responsible for national security. So indeed, the president, as he is now, can actually mandate the minister responsible for the interior to be also responsible for national security. That is why, Mr. Speaker, the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he sponsored the bill that led to the birth of Act 1030. He himself, in 2021, when his mandate was renewed for the second term, he didn't establish the Ministry of National Security pursuant to Act 1030. He did so with an EI 12. So, my leader, this matter came up during the vetting of the Attorney General, and we set the law. We set the law. He suggested that in reading the law purposively, but by no stretch of imagination will you interpret the provision in Section 24 to constitute the provision for the establishment of the Ministry of National Security. That prerogative is left for the President to exercise. So, with these words, Mr. Speaker, I join the call that the report be adopted so Ahmed can quickly proceed to deal with matters of state. I thank you for the opportunity.
Mr. Speaker, not to debate, but before you put the question, I want to remind the majority front bench to look behind. There are empty seats. The chief whip should observe all the empty seats and advise us whether in the circumstance we can put a question. They should get the chamber populated. They say they are super majority. They should let their people come. Mr. Speaker, I'm advising them with all these empty seats, we want them to be in so that we meet the necessary requirements of law so that we can put the question. We are ready to help you. We are ready. We need to take a decision. Chief Whip, this is baptism, first day baptism. Let us see your first day work. This is not for majority leader. Leader, this one is not for you. Chief Whip, marshal your members in. Let them come in and fill the spaces. Your back is empty. Mr. Speaker, that must be done before we put the question. No, this side is, look, the whole place is empty. The whole place is empty. We told you so.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I am minded to make the point that we have the numbers. We have more than 1 to 3. So you may put the question, Mr. Speaker. There's
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, he has not caught my eye.
No, so tell me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, honourable members. No.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, over the years, particularly in the 8th Parliament, Mr. Speaker, the question of attendance to this House had become a major issue. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, on several occasions, civil society organizations, the media and the rest have had the occasion to discuss at great length the attendance of members of Parliament to the business of the House. Mr. Speaker, we are here this afternoon conducting extremely serious business. Mr. Speaker, we are here as an arm of government to exercise our constitutional mandate in supporting the President to constitute his government. And Mr. Speaker, indeed, we are here to approve 3 very important ministers: the Minister for Local Government, the Minister for Trade and Industry, the Minister for Gender. And Mr. Speaker, let me say that it is refreshing that all 3 of them are here. But the majority benches and seats are empty. Mr. Speaker, empty. Empty. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, on December, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, on December 7th, Mr. Speaker, on December 7th, Mr. Speaker, on December 7th, Ghanaians queued and voted for 275 members of Parliament. 183 of them are members of the majority side. They are not here. Mr. Speaker, they are not here. Mr. Speaker, look at the minority side. They are always happy. They are always happy to erroneously, Mr. Speaker. They are always happy to erroneously refer to us. They are always happy to erroneously refer to us as micro minority. But Mr. Speaker, this minority will be in this House every day and conduct our business and perform our responsibility. Mr. Speaker, that is why I refer you to Order 64. Order 64, Rule 4 of our standing orders. Mr. Speaker, and before I even quote the said order, Mr. Speaker, this minority, Mr. Speaker, and I refer to this the minority of this 9th Parliament, the effective minority. And Mr. Speaker, the good book, the Holy Bible, teaches us that a few people under God can conquer a multitude of people. And that is why we are well represented here. Mr. Speaker, I've referred to the order, but indeed, as the venerable distinguished minority that rightly pointed out, some of the people who have been approved today are indeed have been members of this House over a period of time, and we know them quite well in the 8th Parliament. I refer particularly to the Minister of Trade designate, the Minister of Local Government, the 2 of them in particular. Mr. Speaker, we have worked with them in this House, and for their sake, Mr. Speaker, for their sake, we will temper justice with mercy. We will temper justice with mercy. But, Mr. Speaker, before I take my seat, before I take my seat, Mr. Speaker, I will waive the application. I will not make the application. And I mean, I will not make the application under Order 64, Rule 4. I will not. But let them bring their people to this house before we take the question, Mr. Speaker. The majority leader should ensure, the majority chief whip, he's one of the people who used to raise these issues. He used to raise this issue in the A Parliament. Mr. Speaker, he should fill his seats. Mr. Speaker, I conclude by saying a huge majority, but ineffective majority, a small minority, but effective minority. Let them come for us to conduct business. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Yes, majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, I think we have enjoyed ourselves. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that he has restrained himself from coming under Order 64.
Yes.
So, Mr. Speaker, you may put the question.
Yes, Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, today is the majority leader's first day at work.
Especially the majority whip.
Mr. Speaker, today is the majority leader's first day at work. As the respected member who spoke said, we will temper justice with mercy. We will not visit the sins. We will not visit the sins of the majority chief whip on the majority leader. We will not visit the sins of the majority chief whip on the majority leader. We will therefore yield to his prayer for government business to go on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members. At the conclusion of the debate, the question is all those in favor that motion listed 10 in today's order paper, all those in favor of that motion, say aye. All those against, say no. Honorable members, it is obvious the ayes have it. The motion is hereby adopted. And that this Honorable House has approved His Excellency's, the President's nomination of Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim as Minister Designate for Local Government, Chieftaincy, and Religious Affairs. Honorable Dr. Agnes Na Mumulati as Minister Designate for Gender, Children, and Social Protection. And Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu Ejari as Minister Designate of Trade, Agribusiness, and Industry. Honorable members, on behalf of the House, let me extend our congratulations to our colleagues. They are part of us, and they are now going to serve as ministers of state. We wish them well. Yes, Honorable First Deputy Speaker.
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to thank the committee and the House on behalf of the nominees for having the confidence to endorse them. Right, Honorable Speaker, I am so grateful for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Chairman of the Appointments Committee. Yes, leadership. Yes, leader of government business.
Right Honorable Speaker, motion numbered 10.
Yes. Leadership, is that the pressure of the House?
Speaker, that is so.
Very well. Chairman of the Appointment Committee.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity to move the motion numbered 10 on today's order paper, particularly at page 3, that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 1041, which require that a motion shall not be debated until at least 2 sitting days have elapsed after the notice to move the motion is given. The motion for the adoption of the 4th report of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency, the President's nomination for appointment as ministers may be moved today. Right Honorable Speaker, I so moved.
Thank you very much. Yes. Honorable Member for Wejabawe and second Deputy Minority Whip.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we second the motion.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, the motion listed 10 has been moved by the chairman, has been seconded by the second Deputy Minority Whip. This is just a procedural motion, and therefore I'll go ahead to put the question. All those in favor of the motion listed 10, say aye. All those against say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Yes, Chairman, let's take the substantive motion 11.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this Honorable House adopt the 4th report of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency, the President's nomination for appointment as minister, and in doing so, I present the committee's report of the appointment, present the Appointment Committee's report on the nomination of Honorable Ablajifa Gomashi as Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Honorable Emilia Atta as Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, and Mr. George Opare Ado as Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment. The Speaker, I will urge the Hansard Department to capture the report as having been read in its entirety and to state that various questions were posed to the nominees respectively. They provided the answers and all are contained in the report. And Mr. Speaker, I pray that the committee's report be adopted, leading to the approval of the nominees. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for your opportunity.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, the chairman of the Appointment Committee has moved the motion. Yes. Yes, Honorable Member for Boston Freon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Speaker, I rise to also support the report, to second the report on the approval, support the motion on the approval.
Second the motion.
Yes, yes. Second the motion.
Yes.
Second the motion.
Go on.
In doing so, Mr. Speaker, I want to make some few points. Madam Honorable Abna Jifago Mashi has been an industry player. Hence, we are all aware of her prowess and competence in this industry. Mr. Speaker, it is very important that we draw her attention and refresh her mind to some very key important things that were achieved or done by the SY government, which needs to be looked at, repeated, and if possible, enhanced. The Speaker, one of them is a year of return, which obviously saw about millions of foreigners coming into the country, raising about 1.9 million to support the economy of this country. Speaker, after the year of return, we introduced the Beyond the Return, which was also very important and helped largely the tourism industry of this country. Speaker, I would urge her that now that she is coming into the ministry, some of these things should be encouraged, improved, and if better, resourced, so that Ghana will be seen as one of the areas, destination, like we have December to remember in Ghana. Ghana will be seen as one of the destinations and areas we look at. Speaker, the report also at paragraph 4.1 mentioned clearly when responding to questions at the vetting, stating and speaking on the deterioration of states of some tourist sites in Ghana. Speaker, it is very critical when you look at that report. He mentioned clearly that she's also going to develop major tourist sites in this area, and then also support the MMDCs to rehabilitate, raise, and make sure that tourist sites in the areas of these countries and local assemblies are developed. The Speaker, I want to also draw her attention to some major sites, tourist sites that Ghana need to pay attention to. The Speaker, one of them, to mention a few, is Abriwa Waterfalls, the Speaker, Bakote Waterfalls, the Awam Waterfalls, the Bobiem Waterfalls, the Dane Waterfalls, the Amomos Waterfalls, the Tebri Waterfalls, the Subrisu Waterfalls. The Speaker, the Tebesu Waterfalls, not to mention, just to mention a few, are all waterfalls in the Bosome Freho constituency. The Speaker, I urge the minister, now that she's going into that the ministry, to support the local assembly to develop these tourist sites, which I believe strongly would improve the tourist ecosystem in this country and also create jobs for people in this constituency, to be specific. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Emilia Atta, Mr. Speaker, I also congratulate her and also say that she has worked well for the NDC and John Dramani Mahama to nominate her. Mr. Speaker, but there is one thing she needs to look at. Mr. Speaker, that is the 14 landing sites that were started and yet to be completed by this government. Mr. Speaker, it is important that we ask her, we urge her, that going into the ministry, those 14 landing sites must not be abandoned. Mr. Speaker, one of the major issues that bedeviled the SWAT administration close about 2 weeks to elections was, illegal mining and water body mining. The Speaker, as a minister designate to go for fisheries, it is important that when some of these water bodies are destroyed, it affects fisheries. So she should clearly, carefully look at this area and ensure that, the Speaker, the water bodies are safe and the water bodies are conducive for the fishes to live there. The Speaker, there have been controversy on when the fishing time to be closed, or the closing season and the opening season. The Speaker, it's important that stakeholders are engaged to make sure that our fisher folks enjoy the number of times they are supposed to fish, so that we can also have the benefit of having our. The Speaker, the last one, which is the Minister Designate for Youth Development. The Speaker, the NDC promised so much to the youth of this country. The Speaker, I am urging respected colleague, George Opare Ado, the Speaker, that he promised the NDC youth, he promised the Ghanaian youth, that we are going to eat 3 times or 3 meals a day. Now that he's going into the ministry, Mr. Speaker, that must be ensured. Mr. Speaker, he promised that there is going to be a formula, 1-3-3 formula, where 1 job, 3 people, and 3 positions. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, he promised, and we are looking forward to seeing that. Mr. Speaker, the NDC promised, and they made a huge capital on the LGBT, which largely, greatly affects the youth of this country. Mr. Speaker, we are urging him, as now the Minister designate for youth development, he should look at those areas and improve them. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I would also support and commend and congratulate them.
Thank you very, very much, Honorable Member for Bosome Freho. Honorable members, the motion has been moved and it has been seconded. It is now the property of the House for consideration. So my understanding is that we are taking two from each side. Is that not the pressure of the House? Yes. Speaker, that is so. Very well. So we are taking two from each side, and we will begin from Honorable Mumuni Mohammed Nuruddin.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker, I will first of all want to use this opportunity to congratulate my big brother, Honorable Hassan Ayarga, Honorable Muhammad Ayarga, for his elevation to the majority leader and leader of government business. He is my senior brother, and I'm very happy seeing him at this position. And Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with you and tell my senior brother that he should use his opportunity as the leader of the House for us to put...
You have 5 minutes, and you have to speak to the report.
I will wrap up with the 5 minutes. Let me make this important point. It's very important. I want my senior brother to use his position as the leader of the House and leader of government business, so that we'll put our heads together and find lasting peace in Boku. That is very, very important. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to use this opportunity to congratulate the nominees for the wonderful work that they have done. I will start with the nominee for youth, the youth minister. Yesterday, I had an opportunity of sitting at the vetting, and I asked a very important question, but unfortunately, the Speaker ruled the question. I want to tell the minister, if approved by the House, he should do all what it can to call the rampant youth of this country who has gone to ransack government offices in the name of change of government. I think before you can talk of giving employment to people, the first thing that you have to do is to bring peace within the youth. So I want to tell the minister to take that thing very, very serious.
For us, not lawful, and we live in a democratic state. It shouldn't be happening in this democratic dispensation. Right, Honorable Speaker, if you look at the youth of this country, it's not the youth who are educated. Some of the youth need skill training. And in the last administration, the Youth Employment Agency was doing a wonderful job. And my brother was a board member of the Youth Employment Agency. They did a fantastic job at the Youth Employment Agency, teaching those who are not educated, giving them skills. So I will urge the youth minister to put more effort on the skill training, that the hairdress company train, the tiling, the plumbing, so that most of these youth who always go on rampage, they will get something to do at that aspect. Right, Honorable Speaker, again, I will want the minister to put attention to youth in agriculture. If you look at how the country is going, most of the youth are in agriculture, so we can see how best the ministry can find support for who are into agriculture for them to get themselves busy. Right, Honorable Speaker, if you look at youth in mental health, there are a lot of the young people in this country who are mentally challenged, and you see that nothing has been done about that. If we don't take our time, it will get to a time most of the youth will get into this problem, and it has to do with addiction. We have to find ways at that ministry to department that will go around to educate the youth about the effect of drugs and
all those things. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. If you go to the Minister for Tourism, to congratulate the Minister for the wonderful job done during the. But if you look at the tourism, mostly, if we are talking of tourism, they always concentrate on the southern sector. If you look at the northern sector, there are tourism potential at the northern sector. An example is Northeast Region, Swansea, Nalero Gambaga constituency. We have the Gambaga escarpment. It has not been given attention in recent times. I want the minister to give attention to the escarpment in the Nalero Gambaga constituency. It will help generate revenue district assembly in Nalero Gambaga constituency. I want to move to the Ministry for She did very well, but one thing about ministry has to do with, when we talk of fishing, only concentrate on the coastal areas, but there are a lot of fishing potential in the north. There are a lot of river bodies that our people also use in doing fishery. So I want to use her ministry to look at that aspect, to see how best they will give support in the northern part of this country, so that they will also benefit.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much. So now, thank you, Honorable Millicent Yabua Amankwa.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity given to me to contribute to the fourth report of the Assessment Committee on the nominations of the appointees from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I am overwhelmed with the contribution and decision from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama of appointees and the nomination of Honorable Jifa Gomoshi, Honorable Emilia, Mr. George Opari Ado. Honorable Jifa Gomoshi was the former Deputy Minister for Tourism, and I have no doubt about his contribution to the experience at the main ministry. Tourism has been one of the key economic drives for the country, and it's something we have to pay key attention to as members of parliament. And I was very happy when the question and suggestion was imposed to hear about MPs being able to witness these sides. Because MPs represent the country one way or the other in other appointment conferences across the country. And they can equally be a rep, an advocate for tourism. It doesn't mean that only be the ministry that we have to look at. And so I was very happy that she answered that she was very happy and she would take into consideration. When you to the page 10 of the report, the development of the tourist site, I think my honorable minority member spoke about it, and I was here about it. But there is one thing he conflicts with the LGBTQ. I believe that it is not mandatory for the minister for youth development, but it's key under the tourism because it's culture-related cost, and that is one thing we need to pay key attention to because of the young ones coming up. I would move to our Honorable Emilia Arthur's nominees, and I am very happy that if you listen to her vetting, you could and clearly note that she has much more contribution. Even me, I have been once a student of hers. She had transformed elements, and I'm not surprised that when it comes to this ministry, she would excel. And even the question that was imposed to her, when you go to the page 18 of the report, paragraph 5.3, on the child education and e-learning. As women, we are much concerned about young kids and young ones. You see a community with much fishery, you might be concerned about what these kids are doing at that part time. And I was very happy about the answer, not directly on the bed mothers, but it is also a national level issue that to look at, because maybe the education facilities are not a must for them. And it's very key that you could clearly see that if a classroom that should contain 25 is taking about 100 people and teachers is supposed to take care of 5 people are taking 100, you can imagine the stress and the burden. I believe that together with the Ministry of Education, she would equally do very well. I believe in her as well. As a woman, I was very happy that the National Democratic Congress youth organizer was being appointed a Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment. And so in the conclusion of the vetting, the Honorable Majority Leader said and asked the nominee about the ground plan development for women development. And I was very happy about the Honorable Majority Leader, Honorable Ricketts, said and asked the nominee about the ground plan development for women plan development. And so I was very happy he equally said that he work in hand the Ministry of Women and Gender, make sure they advocate for much consent, and very key in the city for women as well. And so all I could say is I wish all nominees all the very best, and I believe that with God all things are possible, and the restarting agenda, inshallah, will come to pass. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's turn to Honorable Daniel Ado Kenneth.
Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also want to add voice in congratulating the 3 nominees for the various ministries. Honorable Tifa Gomashi for Minister Designate for Culture and Creative Arts. Honorable Emiliata, Minister Designate for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development. And George Opayado, Minister Designate for Youth Development, who is also a member of my constituency. And so I congratulate them and also congratulate him. Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Tifa Gomasi, as we all know, has been an industry player, and we believe her competency in managing the tourism industry. One area, just like my respected indicated, is the expansion of the domestic tourism. We should not be focused only in the southern sector and most importantly urban sector. She has toured around. I meet her often at festivals and funerals, and I think that one area just for her to consider is the commercialization of our festivals, the major ones, and some major funerals as well. These are areas that are untapped in the tourism and creative arts industry that I think that we ought to look at. I also want to draw attention to the Kole Lagoon. We should not, this time, her ministry should think that it is only the environment and sanitation aspect. Travel outside and even far away to the Water Lake to have some cruises. and looking at the position of the Kole Lagoon, it being in, if her ministry takes it up in connection with the relevant ministries to properly clean it, it would provide a lot of jobs for these young men along the lagoon who be protecting it and making sure that the pollution of it is prevented. We will share a lot of ideas with her as to how this can be done. I would want to move on to my brother, Jojo Parado, to take a particular look at the NY, which can be the area that, to borrow their own agenda, comes to resetting some of the mindset of the youth in terms of productivity, in terms of technical skills and other areas. We also want to draw his attention to the YA, particularly under the sanitation models. That is an area that should be looked at very well so that we can tackle some of our challenges we have in our major urban centers and city centers critically. Right Honorable Speaker, I would want to suggest to our Honorable nominee for Fisheries that in page 19, looking at the report, she indicated the consideration for her to continue solar project for the outboard motors. She thought that she had a different view. Right Honorable Speaker, just yesterday, our Honorable Member for Manson Kwanzaa made a statement, and we're all urging that we should go green. And if our commitment to going green energy is to go by, I think this initiative would be something that she should reconsider position on, so that this initiative can help reduce the cost of premix and the issues that are set with premix fuel. It will also go a long way to support her initiative of using the subsidies or the profit made from the premix in certain community initiative projects, which she listed on page 20. And so, Honorable Speaker, I respectfully suggest to the Minister Designate that she should reconsider her position on the fuel for premix and then go continue the solar project. On that note, I want to wish them well, and we will all support for their success. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. The last one from Honorable Kwame Asarobin, Gumua Central.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I want to first of all congratulate the nominees. Also, commend the President for the kind of appointment that he has made. In fact, looking at the caliber of people who have been appointed into various positions, it makes us confident that they are going to perform. And as a stakeholder in the creative arts industry, I will spend more time commenting on Honorable Difa Abna Gomeshi. For that, I will also commend Mr. Giorgio Ado. In the 2024 elections, the youth voted massively for the National Democratic Congress. And the future of the National Democratic Congress, whether they will be in power in 2020 or not, depends on his performance. And so I'm very confident that he is going to perform, and the party has him a big role to play in that next election. Also, Honorable Emiliata is going to play the role of Jesus Christ. She's going to take care of the fish. And I'm very sure that she's very much aware of how Jesus Christ dealt with fish. And the people of Ghana will be waiting to get more of that. I want to remind her that there is the biggest fish farm in Ghana. The biggest nursery in Ghana is in my constituency, R&B Farms. In unfortunately, I didn't hear any comment on R&B Farms. It looks like most of the people who were at the committee don't know about R&B Farms. R&B Farms is the biggest fish farm in Ghana. It has the biggest hatchery in Ghana, West Africa. and I will urge her to look at that as well. On Honorable Abna Gomeshi, she, apart from the fact that she has been a minister who gained so much knowledge in His Excellency John Mahama's first term, she herself is an actress, she's a writer, she has been part of almost everything that has brought the creative arts where it is today. And such an appointment goes without saying, her appointment goes without saying that she's going to be one of the best ministers. She has the requisite experience to deliver, and I'm confident that she's going to do so, especially as a creative consultant. I believe strongly that she's going to unearth talent, especially in rural areas. Most people travel from Ghana to places like Israel to visit where Jesus Christ and an angel had a fight. And I'm very confident that she's going to do so, especially as a creative art consultant. I believe strongly that she's going to unearth talent, especially in rural areas. Most people travel from Ghana to places like Israel to visit where Jesus Christ and an angel had a fight. They travel to visit where Jacob fought with an angel, where Jesus Christ had a conversation with Satan about sharing the earth, and all of those. I don't have any evidence to disprove those. The evidence that I have is where Kwame Nkrumah lived when he came back to Ghana, which I believe that if we improve on these, it is going to bring a lot of tourists and revenue to our country. I know where Konfanoche was born. I believe that the honorable member would consider looking into those, so that one day we will have people coming to Ghana to also take Tetakwashi's farm to their countries, instead of us going to bring the Garden of Eden into our country. If we are able to improve upon our existing tourist sites, we will have people coming here to take a piece of Kwame Nkrumah's chop box at Circle to their country, instead of us going to bring a stone to build the biggest swimming pool in the history of the world. And so I want to, I also want to remind her that showbiz, as somebody who has been part of the Trade and Industry Committee of Parliament, that she knows the meaning of show business, which is the show itself and the business that it comes with. And I believe that she will be able to marry the two. And she's herself a development queen, which means that she knows how to put culture, politics, and tradition together. I believe strongly that we are going to see a new tourism and creative arts ministry, and I want to congratulate her and wish that all my colleagues also support her to be the next minister. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you once again. First, we'll congratulate all the nominees for such appointments. Mr. Speaker, I'll take from Fisheries, Honorable Emiliata. I've known Emilia since 2008, when she first contested for the Shama seat. Mr. Speaker, there are two issues she needs to reconsider her decision. The first one being the outboard motors. Mr. Speaker, it is a fact. Premix has been a problem because of the subsidy. And Mr. Speaker, it will continue to be a problem. Mr. Speaker, because Ghana cannot continue to subsidize when we have an alternative in solar. So I believe that government should be more interested in investing in the solar outboard motors for government, so that one, they can keep their costs down. Two, the problem of inadequate supply, corruption supply of the premix will be a thing of the past. The 3% profit that are invested in community projects is minimalistic, so small, they can never have the huge impact we expect in our communities. So I believe that as a minister taking up this position, the solar outboard motto is that you should hold on to and make sure it's implemented. I know for a fact that the last time I was in Shaman and I'd announced the solar outboard motto, the fishermen had welcomed me, and she was there to also add a voice to the matter. So I find it very unfortunate that she's feet dragging on this matter, because government and Ghana's money cannot continue to be used in subsidizing it when we have an alternative. If we didn't have an alternative, so be it. Mr. Speaker, secondly, she had made mention of pin mining in the water bodies, and I support that position. Mr. Speaker, if we take all our rivers, we have the communities along those rivers, and as I can speak on authority that all the people arrested as galamseyers, on them, they had always come from those communities. And we all know the people that work on those communities. So please, I believe that this is one major area she's been spot on in making sure that she works on them. Finally, I would like to also on to the Minister for Tourism. Everybody knows her worth. Everybody knows her involvement in street. We are no doubt that she can't perform. We know she will be able to perform. But Mr. Speaker, on the issues of roads leading to tourism site, I believe that the minister should avert her mind the district road improvement program. I believe that if he's able to connect well with the local government minister, you should be able to fix a lot of these, especially the last mile to these tourist sites as quickly as possible. That issue has to do with the tourist site itself and a lot of our museums across the country. Mr. Speaker, because funding doesn't come from the center as quickly as possible, a lot of our museums and tourist sites are in very deplorable states. I believe that it is time we decentralize the management of these sites across the country, especially special boards for them at the local level. Even if you cannot do it at the district level because they might match, if you can do something at the regional level to manage these sites, especially raising funds to maintaining them, and then making sure that they do reinvest, believe that it will go a long way to sustain a lot of our tourist sites, because a lot of them are just too vulnerable. And I believe that we should be able to have these local boards to raise private financing first, because the law already states that when people even invest, they should be able to give you something. When the community invests, they should be giving something. And I believe that we've been able to do one with Lezu. When we had major difficulty, we were able to bring the community together. All those that invested, including Tourist Board itself, were giving some shareholding that they are able to do or reinvest in those communities. Last not least has to do with Minister responsible for youth development and empowerment. I believe that if you take the new title for the ministry, very clear cut, development and empowerment, we definitely will be looking up to the minister that you raise the necessary resources from the Ministry of Finance and other private agencies to support the youth of this country to be able to. And I believe that, as you said in your NDC manifesto launch, you place emphasis on technology and digitalization. Already, Minister for Roads has also said the same, and I believe that you carry on with that mandate here. Like as we have preached in our term, you continue to invest more in the youth, especially in the technology. Thank you very much, and we congratulate all of you for getting this note through. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, majority leadership.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, to contribute to the motion. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I would like to congratulate the nominees, Honorable Ifa Gomashi, who is going to the Ministry of Tourism, and then Honorable Emilia Atta, who is going to Food and Agricultural Development, and Mr. Opariadu, who will be the First Minister Empowerment. Mr. Speaker, I will start from Honorable Oyado, who is going to this youth development ministry. Mr. Speaker, we do know that one of the biggest problems that we face in this country, especially to do with our economy, is basically about youth unemployment. So I think that wisdom of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to create this new ministry, which is a specific ministry for youth development, is something that we should welcome. And I'm glad that the champion of youth in the NDC party for the last few years as a youth organizer, being to that ministry is in the right direction. And his answers were quite impressive. But I have no doubt in my mind that he will do quite well in that ministry. When you come to Honorable Emilia, she is someone that I have known for years, and I have worked with her when I was a Central Regional Minister and was working with Honorable Shelley Aite of blessed memory in the fisheries area. And he has a very deep understanding of the subject matter. And I think her answers, that she gave, to do all the things, all the questions that she was asked were also quite impressive. And with her, she has the background. And I have in my mind that my constituency, which is a constituency, will benefit greatly as the other fisheries community when she takes office. And then lastly is Honorable Jifa. I mean, I think I was quite impressed with her that we need to develop tourism infrastructure in this country. I mean, when you go to, there are not even enough hotels, not enough restaurants. When people go to places, I mean, when you come to Cape Coast, for instance, you leave the castle, there is nowhere else to go in terms of even where you are going to, have something to eat. And she addressed all these issues. And most importantly, she's actually been a deputy minister of tourism before. So she understands the issue. And I have no doubt in my mind that when she gets in there, she will adly address these issues in the policies and implementations that she will have the opportunity to put in place to improve Ghana tourism, which, if it's well done, could be a serious revenue for this country and help us and help us. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to join in asking the House to approve these nominees so that they can go and start work immediately. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Majority Leader. Honorable members,
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable, why? Let me.
Honorable Speaker, arise. Honorable Speaker, in this house, there are some members who are always punctual, and one of such members is an honorable sister friend and nominee who is going to the of tourism, and because of got to come to the house all the time, I come under Article 102 of OSHIM and Order 64 that talks about quorum of the house. I want it to be said of her that somebody who always comes to the and on a day like this, at the approval stage, the house is empty. The house is empty. I'm saying that Honorable Difa Gomashi is here, but who is always punctual, always punctual. We can't do this to her. We can't do this to her. So we are pleading with you to get your numbers here. And my application is that raising or 64 quorum. If you don't have quorum, so you go to. What are your numbers? Please, please, there's my application. Let us do her the honest by bringing our members here.
I'll come to you. Let me listen to Honorable Susu.
Mr. Speaker, right? Thank you very much, right, Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, observed that when the member rose on his feet, without even the speakership recognizing him, he went ahead, turned on his mic, began to address the House. Mr. Speaker, I believe that this is a House.
Honorable Sesu, initially was right, but later on, once I saw him still standing.
So, Mr. Speaker, I'm just urging the House that we would allow cool heads to prevail in matters like this. Because otherwise, it would almost sound or look like, as my colleague says, I want to support government. You know, on the other side, there's a clawback clause trying to claw back the same goodwill he intends extending. So, Mr. Speaker, I that or look like, was my colleague says, I want to support government business. You know, on the other side, there's a clawback clause trying to claw back the same goodwill he intends extending. So, Mr. Speaker, I believe that since we have ended the debate, Mr. Speaker, you go ahead and put the question so we move ahead. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, I think he has for me. Honorable Leader, yesterday something happened. Hold on, you sit down. Yesterday something happened, and my own brother, my whip, said if he gets up, I shouldn't observe anybody from behind. So that's why I asked him. I don't want what happened yesterday to happen again. So, Honorable Minority Whip, you speak if later on I need to give.
Speaker, we are very minded to support our colleagues to do business of the House. However, we need to recognize that there are constitutional provisions and the matter raised by the Honorable Slinyako. It's a constitutional matter. Quorum is institutional matter. There's no debate about it. Let nobody digress. And I'm happy I can see my good friend, Honorable Fameko, very eager. This is baptism of fire. Whip used to come to the chamber and do government business. We are a constitutional race. We are at this point, we are at your mercy. Let's go by the route. Let's do the count.
That is
go through the process.
Well. So, Honorable, let me also hear you.
Speaker, thank you very much. Speaker, I'm not on my feet to litigate this matter. But the revision of that 64 points to the fact that a member draw your attention to the inadequacies in terms of the quorum. But one, he didn't do that. He didn't point to any figure. The figure I have is that we are 142. But some, Speaker, I will explain, some have proceeded because they were summoned by the chair for appointments committee to go and conclude. So the matter was raised, their attention has been drawn to the fact that they must come back for us to deal with this, and then they can go back. That's why the chair himself has also come back. So we have quorum to commence business, which we have done and we have called to take a decision, Mr. Speaker.
Well.
So I'm pleading with my brothers on the other side.
Honorable member for Kwadaso.
Speaker, I'm pleading with them so that we can take the decision. I thank you for the opportunity.
Honorable member for Kwadaso.
Responsibility to bring him. We just told him to go out. It's not good. It's not good.
Honorable member for Kwadaso. Honorable member for Kwadaso.
Honorable Speaker.
If you want to invoke the orders or the Constitution, do so that we go through the procedure. No, he didn't do that. He didn't do that.
Honorable Speaker, my understanding is we are not in quorum. So per the procedure, I think we need to get numbers to be sure, or the bell is rung, so that hot, Mr. Speaker, hot is being done. At Order 64 and Article 1 of the Constitution. These are the two provisions that are invoked. Order and Article 102 of the Constitution.
Are you coming under Article 102 or Article 104?
Mr. Speaker, Order 64 says
once we are going through this, we are learning. So just allow him. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, Order 64.1 talks about a quorum of Parliament apart from the person presiding, third of all members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, so I come under this order. 64.1.
Honorable member, if you rely on Order 64.1, and I want to read for the hearing of all of us, a quorum of Parliament, apart from the person presiding, is 1/3 of all the members of Parliament. So if you are, that is what you are.
Mr. Speaker, I joined that one with Article 104 of the Constitution. That talks about 104.1 talks about the fact that, except as otherwise provided in this Constitution, matters shall be determined by the votes of the majority of members first, and voting with at least half of all the members of Parliament present. Mr. Speaker, in raising this constitutional matter, it is without prejudice. It is without prejudice. My constitution is that our friends on the other side are in the majority. And I premise my position on the fact that we have some dedicated members in this house who are always punctual. And in an occasion, Mr. Speaker, so I have invoked this. My understanding is that we have 120 in this house. 120 in this house.
Very well.
And we have to be 139 to make a decision.
Very well.
Thank you.
Honorable members. This is a constitutional matter. Once he has invoked Article 104, we will go the process. So let me quickly ask the clerk at table. Let me call the clerk at table to ring. Please, now, honorable, if the mover wants to abandon it, then I can. He's not abandoning it. Let me go through the process. So please let the bell be rung.
Speaker, with your attention, shall we then adjourn?
Come again?
Obviously, they don't have the numbers. You don't have the numbers. Instead of you you're not begging. Instead of beg, your chief will be here begging, and you're making papa. I have the numbers. Where are your people? Speaker, could you please adjourn? Go and bring your numbers. What process?
Shut up.
Speaker will adjourn. Look at your chief whip. Your chief whip is begging here.
Honorable members, please. Honorable members, now we'll go through the procedure in order 64. So the first one is to direct the clerk at table in the bell. At least we will have 10 minutes. Then if you still don't have the numbers, then so clerk at table, please ring the bell.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think that the majority should know that we are here to do government business. Nobody is here to watch the business of the house. But members should also know that you cannot say one breath that we are here to do government business. Nobody is here to thwart the business of the house. But members should also know that you cannot say one breath we are ready to support, another breath we are not ready to support. When you do that, you are accusing us wrongly, especially when a member comes up to raise a legitimate matter that we do not form a quorum. Because people that we are talking about, they are our colleagues. And if you listen to the honorable member who raised order 64 and 104, he was actually appealing the majority to know that they call themselves super majority. These are the people struggling, and these are early days yet. These are early days for us to be struggling on the floor. These are early days. The majority. Look at all this place. We want to appeal to our colleague, especially a colleague from Medina, that sometimes his choice of words are not right. His choice of words are not. You should know that we have government business run. Please. So respect must be shown. So, Mr. Speaker, on that note, he should try to be mindful of his language, withdraw what he has said, and then we progress. We need to approve our colleagues. And we, the minority, are ready to do that. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to use this opportunity to call on my brothers on both sides, especially on the guide, to know that where we are, today is the day of transition. We've not put the second deputy plus the main chief, my brothers on both sides, especially on the government side, to know that where we are, today is the day of transition. We've not put the first and second deputy plus the main chief whip, their caucus meeting for so many things. So today is just their first time. And I therefore want to plead with the former chief whip to call on the honorable member who called for the quorum to withdraw the quorum and let us proceed and make amends. The Speaker, to add, if you are on the government side, it is not enough for you to just attack. We must be defending. So when the member was raising the quorum, looking at your back and knowing that you don't have the numbers, you don't have to attack them. You only plead. You only plead. If you plead and they disagree, then you call on the speaker to defer the question. Because you can go by force and put the question, and they will challenge it. The motion will be lost. Should we have to go and restart? No. Which we cannot. So where we are now, colleagues, please bear with us and withdraw the quorum. And let's make amend. It's the only exit that we have. If you want to go through the whole process, leader, you know it won't do us a great deal. Today is just the first day. And Mr. Speaker, to conclude, we have 138. If you ring the bell, members will come. But it will take a long time because Interior Committee is sitting. Appointment Committee is sitting. By convention, we don't sit when critical issues are being debated on the floor. Some of the members also don't know. So we don't have to be raising so long. Not so long ago, we were here and we approve you. Today it is our time.
If a question of quorum is raised under 64, it doesn't necessarily mean listen to the House. You direct that a bill be raised, which you did.
That is why I'm entertaining the discussion.
Yes, which you did. And for 10 minutes, if you do the number, you can put a question or suspend sitting. Those are remedies that the rules have catered for. So it wasn't a fact that means that, by all means, the House will suspend or a decision ought not to be taken. You needed to go the procedures under 64, exhaust it, and we make a decision. So I'm sure by now you have the numbers, and the honourable member, Mr. Speaker, the honourable member for Kwadaso has something interesting to tell you. So let's indulge him. Thank you.
Speaker. Yes, member. What to listen to?
But again, listen, you are not patient. So let me commend the Minister, local government, and this proves to the fact that we will need guidance in navigating forward. And so, Chief Whip, where are you? Seated on your seat. So, baptism of fire. So, as the Honorable man said, we have done a very good consultation, and the
Honorable member for Kwadaso, so let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, this job is a very difficult one. It's a very difficult one. But Gomashi, is my very, very good friend. Very, very good friend. And even though this quorum, I felt it. My her so much. And she being one of the most dedicated and committed and most intelligent female MPs in our midst. I, Kingsley Nyako, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Madina, Mr. Speaker, I withdraw the quorum, the application because of Ifa Gomashi, the nominee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, honorable members, Honorable Yusuf, please, you don't have the floor. Yes, honorable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is, as many as are in favor of the motion listed 11 in today's order paper, say aye. All those against, so no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. And that this honorable house has approved His Excellency the President nomination of Honorable Abra Jifomashi as Minister Designate for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. Honorable Emiria Atta as Minister Designate for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development. And Honorable George Opare Ado as Minister Designate for Youth Development and Empowerment. Honorable members, on behalf of the House, let me extend my congratulations to our honorable members. We will well in their new office. Yes, Honorable First Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I'm so much grateful for the opportunity to, on behalf of the nominees, and thank the committee and the entire House for being them as ministers of state. Once again, I am grateful to the House.
Thank you very much. Yes, leadership and indication.
There was an earlier agreement at conclave on the number of statements admitted. So that is important. The Honorable OP.
Yes.
Even though he has some challenge.
Yes, I don't have any problem, but then it means. Yes.
So Speaker, we should. There are 3 of them. We can do 2, and then continue the rest. Starting off with that of
yes,
the Honorable
I want
Davis.
First Deputy Speaker to help me so that I'll go. Yes.
Speaker, shall we start off with the Honorable Davis Opoku? Speaker, we are ready to.
Yes. Honorable David Opoku, you may start.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to make a statement on the high attrition rate in Parliament and the need for reforms in political funding and candidate selection processes. Right Honorable Speaker, I rise to address a matter of significant importance to the stability and advancement of our democracy, the high attrition rate in Parliament. Over the years, numerous capable MPs have lost their seats due to systemic challenges rather than a lack of competence or dedication. Today, I seek to identify the causes of this issue and propose practical reforms to safeguard and the integrity of our parliamentary system. Right Honorable Speaker, the high attrition rate in Ghana's parliament is a complex issue that affects all political parties. For instance, within the New Patriotic Party, from the 7th to the 9th Parliament, 94% of these lost their seats, leaving only 10 out of the 169 MP. This turnover undermines the institutional memory, the continuity of governance, and deprives Parliament of the expertise of experienced legislators. The primary drivers of this problem, Mr. Speaker, include quick enforcement of the Political Parties Act 2000, which means that political parties disclose their funding sources, but we all know that enforcement has been weak. This has allowed financial considerations in party primaries, prioritizing wealth over competence. The second point is the cost of politics. Campaigning and sustaining a political press are prohibitively expensive, compelling them to finance constituency activities from their own resources. This leads to financial strain. And Mr. Speaker, the third point is the contentious candidacy process. Political party primaries are often divisive and financially driven, undermining the merit-based selection. My point, Mr. Speaker, is the misunderstanding of MPs' role. Many constituents view it as local development agents, leading to unrealistic expectations. MPs are often replaced when they fail to meet conditions, even if their legislative performance is strong. The Speaker defends this for local leaders onto MPs, further distorting public perceptions of their roles. The Speaker, matters for reform include: 1. Strengthening enforcement of the Political Parties Act. 2. The Act provides a legal framework for regulating political parties, especially their finances. However, Mr. Speaker, enforcement remains inadequate. To reduce the influence of money in politics, I recommend enforcement of financial disclosure requirements. 2. Penalties for non-compliance by imposing sanctions on parties that fail to adhere to financial transparency rules, and regulating political funding. Mr. Speaker, building on Act 57, Ghana should enact a comprehensive political funding legislation over the playing field. This law should include public funding for political parties, i.e. allocating funding based on electoral performance to reduce dependency on private financiers. We should also campaign spending limits. We should cap campaign expenses to curb excessive spending like we see in the UK. Mr. Speaker, transparency and accountability. Parties must publicly disclose donations, including amounts and donors' identity. Mr. Speaker, one major cause of high attrition rate in Parliament is the divisive and socially driven nature of candidate selection within political parties. Mr. Speaker, I can draw inspirations from Argentina's PASO system, introduced through Law 26574 in 2009. The Speaker, PASO system allows all registered voters, not party members, to participate in party primaries. All parties hold primaries on the same day to ensure fair and transparency. And candidates must secure a minimum percentage of votes to qualify for the general. This PASO system is going to promote fairness and reduce the misery that we see in our political system.
ensure transparency under the Electoral Commission's oversight, and foster unity within parties by minimizing internal disputes during primaries. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution should be amended. Elect MMDCs. This would empower local government leaders to oversee development projects and allow MPs to concentrate on their legislators. We need to strengthen the National Commission for Civic Education to inform the public about the roles of MPs. Sufficient should be allocated for campaigns to clarify the difference between legislative duties and development responsibilities. Mr. Speaker, my set point is that I oppose reviving Parliament's earlier plan to construct dedicated constituency offices nationwide to strengthen the connection between MPs and their constituents. These offices would provide a permanent platform for MPs to effectively engage with their constituents, address concerns, and communicate their achievements. While pursuing the goal of constructing constituency offices, I suggest the two interim measures. Assemblies, MMDAs could offer MPs office spaces with administrative facilities to serve as constituency offices. Perhaps could consider leasing office spaces in constituencies for MPs, ensuring accessibility and continuity in representation. Parliament should support both approaches by providing logistical assistance, including basic funding and professional staff, to maximize the effectiveness of these offices. Mr. Speaker, I conclude by calling on this House to prioritize this to secure the future of Ghana's democracy and ensure that Parliament remains a bastion of competent and experienced leadership. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Honourable members, I will just invite two comments each side. Yes. Honourable 1, 2. Yes. Honourable Fred.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
For the opportunity to contribute to this laudable movement. Mr. Speaker, it is a truth that we are faced with this challenge of rapid turnover of MPs in this House, making it a bad precedent not to have very experienced hands to lay hands on. Mr. Speaker, I will reserve to some of the causes that he has not mentioned. What brings about these things? Mr. Speaker, one of the problems bringing about this is government appointees of both parties who are never MPs but are given very juicy appointments tend to accumulate funds and undo MPs who are doing the work of government. Both political parties are guilty of this offense. You will be in the House, be continuing, you will go to your constituency, attend programs, let the party do not deal with this issue. It will continue to happen. And with one-term MPs existing in this House, then in the long run, the country stands to suffer the most because we will bring pegs in round holes in this House and the nation will lose. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, my brother, for bringing up this issue.
Yes, Honourable Professor Nyako.
Well, Honourable Speaker, I'm privileged to get this opportunity to add my voice to the statement ably made by Honourable Asan Opoku, MP in Preso constituency, on the topic, the high attrition rate in Parliament and the need for reforms in political funding and candidate selection process. Mr. Speaker, this is a very, very important. It's a topic that I think that we need to take a very critical look at. The causes that he has identified and the proposals for dealing with them, the Speaker, are in the right direction. Suffice me to say, and I want to add an aspect of a cause that probably it didn't clutter his mind. The Speaker, my worry is the access of members of parliament by researchers and other scholars. The Speaker, we are in this house to perform certain responsibilities, legislative functions, deliberative, financial oversight. These are some of the things that we do. And of course, we also represent our constituents here by bringing to the bar or the floor issues that brought them. The Speaker, but when assessments are done on members of parliament, in most cases, the work we do here are excluded. They don't see the importance of pushing the legislations that we make, our inputs, activities, and even at plenary. These assessors don't know about any of this. The Speaker, if my constituents don't know my contribution on the floor, the bills help to sponsor ideas that are brought to bear on shaping policies of government that are brought to the House. How can they assess me effectively? Now, the assessments of us are restricted only in the constituencies on mass development. But we are told that the MPs are not agents of development, rather the assemblies. Mr. Speaker, this trend, if not addressed, will contribute to high attrition rates that we are experiencing in this house. There are seniors here who are well versed when it comes to the rules of procedure in this house. The Speaker, we need their expertise. We need the expertise of somebody like Kwamina no marking. I don't pray. Mama Erga. We need the expertise of somebody like Kwamina no marking. I don't pray. Mama Erga and Ahmed Ibrahim. How I do so and others. They've been here for a very long time and they understand the rules of engagement in this house. Assuming they were not around, how would the newcomers benefit from their experience and their rich expertise? We need to let them understand that when they are assessing us, we don't begrudge them if they go to our constituencies, but they must also come here and know what we do. Probably, Mr. Speaker, our constituents will now understand the work we do. So this unbalanced assessment of MPs is a major cause of the high attrition rate that we're experiencing in our democracy and our parliament. And again, the cost burden as well. It's not possible that, as the maker of the statement did say, that there should be legislation that will cap how much we have to spend on the campaign trail and the other things, the Speaker, that we do. That will help. We have CI, the CI that governs our elections of 2024, CI 127. It's not possible for us to even amend the CI and make sure that any candidate who goes beyond a certain amount of spending must be dealt with according to the law. We need to criminalize excessive spending. The Speaker is going to help us. On that score, I want to pat the back of the maker of the statement, and I hope that we will take a very critical look at this statement. If possible, if the spirit is troubling, it is worrying, it must stop somewhere. Otherwise, we are going to lose the fine brains of our legislators in this parliament.
Thank you. May God bless you. May you live long, Mr. Speaker.
I promised the first timer. Let him.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission and guidance, can I kindly defer to the Honorable Felix Kwachi Ofosu, who also tried getting your attention? With your guidance, sir.
Honorable Fred, why is it that
Honorable Adam?
Why is it that he himself didn't get up?
No, he tried, please, but he couldn't catch your eye, please. With your guidance, Mr.
Anyway,
Speaker.
Let him hear him for the first time in the chamber. So,
thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I need to thank my colleague, Honorable Edem Agbana, for being gracious enough to see this time to me. Mr. Speaker, I associate fully with my colleague, the Honorable Davis Opoku of the Mpraeso constituency, who once upon a time was my junior in school, Baton Point, about the need for intra-party reforms in terms of the way that candidates are selected to contest for parliament.